When life gets unpredictable, preparation matters. In medicine, it's all about staying alert, ready for whatever comes through the door. On the road, it's no different. That's why Volvo designs vehicles to help anticipate risk, reduce harm, and protect lives. The Volvo XC90's advanced safety systems inspire confident decisions wherever the road takes you. The Volvo XC90, for life. Proud sponsor of the Pit Podcast. Learn more at volvocars.ca/safety.
Welcome back to the Elias Macko Show, third hour of the program, and we'll start off this third hour with the biggest story in the tech world this morning, and Elon Musk now owning Twitter and how he's putting his fingerprints all over the company. Friday, months of back and forth, Elon Musk officially became the owner. Immediately in the first few hours, he dismissed both the CEO and the CFO of the company. And in the last 24 hours, boy, there have been lots of stories coming out. First things first, Twitter could make its Twitter Blue product a subscription service, charge $20 a month, and require it if you want to have the fancy blue check mark to verify you on the site. How many people would spend $240 a year to have access to a blue check mark in Twitter? Well, let's find out about where Twitter is headed now with Elon Musk at the helm. Mitch Joel joins us on the line, tech advisor, investor, and author of CTRL ALT Delete. Mitch, welcome back to the show.
It's a pleasure to be here. Happy Halloween. I get you before you go on, and I get you 3 hours in. Now I'll be able to tell the difference, Elias.
That's
now
right.
I'm going to see.
It's very spooky, Mitch. It's very spooky. Okay, so Mitch, let me ask you this here, okay? Elon Musk now officially owns the company. You can't, some people were thinking he took over the company and all of a sudden moderation policies and everything had already changed. That has not happened, but it's pretty clear that Elon Musk wants to move fast in a whole bunch of different areas. Where do you think he's going to move? How quickly will he move at changing Twitter?
Well, I think quickly and speed is a thought. What most people need to understand is he started the process of acquiring Twitter in 2017. That's when he first started buying shares and becoming one of the largest shareholders in April of 2017. My guess is, in him watching this for now, what is 5 years, he has some thoughts, and he had enough thoughts to want to be able to make a $44 billion offer on the company in April of this year. So if you look at what's happening, whether he is going to be directly the person putting his fingerprint on it or is being affected by it, by the infrastructure that exists now, the employees and stuff, there are a couple of areas he has to play with. One is content moderation, and he's already talked about this content moderation council that will bring in more diversity, as he's saying, and we can get into what that means. Two is employee retention, employee happiness, which is going to be really challenging in a world where they're now saying it could be anywhere from 25% to 50% cuts in staff, which, again, I would probably back that up and can give you some reasoning behind. Three would be regulation. I mean, there's definitely this question of he acquired this company in a world where he has quite a diverse portfolio of companies, and do governments now look at this and feel like maybe they should have regulated tech long before things like this could happen? That is a question. And then the biggest challenge for him is going to be revenue. This can't be, he tweeted out to advertisers that this can't be a free-for-all hellscape, absolutely, but he has to figure out how to make revenue in a company that has really struggled in terms of the advertising world at large to really pull in something and make themselves recognizable and wanted within that world.
And you wonder about revenue, if he's going to focus on getting rid of bots, and then the actual numbers of eyeballs is going to go down because the bots are removed. How you get revenue is such an interesting question. So, Mitch, I'm going to throw this at you because you have a blue check mark. I'm on Mitch Joel's Twitter, which is at Mitch Joel. Blue check mark. I have blue check mark, right? At Elias Mackos.
Of course you do.
I have blue check mark, right? And there's this report out that what Twitter's going to do is say, you want to keep your fancy blue check mark? $20 a month, $240 a year. Mitch, would you pay $240 a year for a blue check mark after your name on Twitter?
I don't know if I will or won't based off of what else comes with it. And the Twitter Blue package in general was about doing things like making tweets editable and other features and functionalities. So to me, I'd have to look at it as a package and go, does this provide value? But I say this as someone who's ascended in my career to a point where I don't need those vanity metrics. Mm-hmm. But I can imagine many other people in the world who would gladly pay to have that check mark, because to them, it's almost like saying you're a best-selling. It's that stamp that allows you to, quote unquote, have some more status. So for me, it depends on what surrounds it. It's not just about whether it's the blue check mark or not.
I think a lot of these
And
questions.
I also don't think it's going to be that big of a revenue leap for them, to be honest. I think that is a very small play in a greater world of what they need to accomplish at that size and scale. This is a company that's got a $41 billion market cap, so I'm not sure that that's going to help them jump over that hurdle.
Mitch, do you trust Elon Musk? I think a lot of the times when I see the debate from people who are thinking that this will be the worst thing ever for Twitter, others who believe this will be good for Twitter, I think it comes down to if people like or trust Elon Musk in general, that leads them to their opinion on Twitter. So what say you? What are your thoughts on Elon Musk? Do you trust the guy?
Trust is a word that we're now linking with political divide. Are they left? Are they right? Do I believe in those values? I'd like to take a step back and go, look, ultimately, if we look at him today, this is a guy who probably single-handedly has done the most for the Ukraine as a civilian than anyone else by using Starlink and giving them internet access. I mean, we have to look at that. We have to look at the fact that he commercialized electronic vehicles probably 2 to 3 decades quicker than would have happened from the traditional motor companies. We can't not look at things like SpaceX and whether you want to go to the side of we don't need to occupy Mars, but just what we're doing in terms of our own general space and what he's done to rekindle that. Again, put aside tourism, but just getting satellites into space, things like that. There's so many things that he's got his fingerprint on that it makes it difficult for me not to look at this and say impressive, while at the same time you could look at the personality, you could look at his political leanings and what he believes being the person who he is of power and privilege and not like it at all. So I don't think it's a one path for me. I think it's a tale of two cities when it comes to what I think about Elon Musk personally and my own feelings about where he stands politically and what he says and how he uses Twitter in comparison to what has he done for the world. And some might even want to debate and argue me on that, but those are pretty powerful stories to tell.
The one major change so far is that when you go to the NYSE and you look for the ticker symbol for Twitter, it is no longer there, right? This is no longer a publicly listed company. It is now in the hands of one guy, and of course there's some other money behind there, but it is no longer a public company. How do you think, Mitch, forget about Elon Musk, how does it change the dynamics of running a social media network if you don't have to worry about reporting quarterly earnings?
I think it matters less in relation to what he has to do to stand up to better ethics and values. So him reporting or not reporting quarterly earnings could be compared to Lego. Lego is the largest privately held company in the world. Does that matter? No, it matters what Lego is doing. Are they moving towards more environmentally friendly bricks? Are they looking at things like packaging and waste in the environment? That's what we have to look to here. And that's why I think regulation is more important than whether or not he is declaring where they're at every single quarter. And I really think that this is a kick in the pants to governments all over the world that haven't looked at regulation as seriously as they should. And that, to me, is the problem, because I've said this before, and I don't know where you sit on this, Elias. I'd love to know your thoughts. I don't want Twitter, I don't want Facebook, I don't want TikTok deciding what is free speech. I want that to come at a legal way through the government and enforced as such. So there's this real balance that we're going to have to do between government regulation, content moderation, and what is quote-unquote legal. It has to start there. And if we can start there, I don't think it really matters whether or not he's reporting quarterly earnings or not.
Well, so I'll take it, and I'll try and answer your question as well. But I do think, you brought up Lego, and sure, the largest privately owned company. But for a social media website, there is so much focus every quarter about what they call the DAUs, the daily average users, and the MAUs, the monthly average users. There's so much focus there that these sites have to foster quote-unquote engagement. And the easiest way to do that is by fostering rage and hatred, right? So that's one thing. If you can get rid of that dynamic, I think things do change on that front. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's something to be said about a social media company that doesn't have to chase engagement metrics.
I would argue that Twitter has been challenged with actually increasing their users for years, long before Elon Musk. This is fundamentally a platform that has been languishing with very little innovation, very little motion into other areas. They've had very not great success with things like Vine and Periscope, which never really converted. Twitter's greatest use has been in getting media attention
Yeah.
and content fodder by that, has becoming this kind of trap for media to get attention. I don't think it is as big or as powerful as people think, just because it has been languishing for a long time, and the ad revenue speaks to it. The actual business results truly speak to that.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Mitch, because there's no question media people are on Twitter. No question. And then I think about non-media people, what's their reasoning for being on Twitter? And I'm not so sure it's there, right? And that's going to be an interesting challenge, how this company tries to attract more people from non-traditional Twitter users to join the service. And I don't know how you do that. I really don't know.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to work on just 280 characters of text. They've even tried with things like Twitter Spaces for audio, and it's a bit of a language. Again, video's been really problematic for them. If you just look at what we're seeing across YouTube, TikTok, even Facebook and Instagram, the level of new integration of products and services has been at scale, whereas Twitter has really fallen shy of this. Now, Elon is talking about this idea of this everything app or this super app, and perhaps Twitter becomes a key component of it. But we can't stop and not recognize that the core functionality of Twitter, these 280 characters, is being replicated everywhere. You do this on Instagram. You post a picture, you write a little bit about it. You can post on your Facebook feed. It has always been a feature of other social media platforms. And the real challenge here is that it's almost like when we talk about Trump and the media, it just furthers the fire. Mm-hmm. I think that Twitter is bigger in the media world of conversation than it actually is in the user world of conversation.
So in the last 24 hours, we saw Elon Musk post a link to a conspiracy theory, delete it. And then the last thing he's posted on Twitter, a poll on bringing back Vine, Mitch. So maybe he will bring back Vine and other video elements, as the poll right now is 69 to 31% in favor of bringing it back.
Yeah, Vine is a great example when you compare it to TikTok of timing and use. And perhaps Vine is a real viable product right now in a world where we've become really accustomed to things like Instagram stories and TikTok and even YouTube Shorts, which is another component. So this all makes sense. The question is, do the users of Twitter feel like it can keep adding on those services as a gateway, as a usage, versus where they're already getting content like that satiated? YouTube Shorts is really struggling, as is Facebook and their video shorts, to keep up with TikTok. So another competitor, maybe, but we've seen historically what happens there.
We'll keep track of the layoffs this week. Mitch, thanks so much for coming on.
Have a great day. Happy Halloween to all.
Happy Halloween. Mitch Joel, tech advisor, investor, and author of CTRL ALT Delete.